So it's been a year and a half. How did you become the My First Million producer?
It was really just Sam kind of wanting to do me a solid and bring me in the orbit after he found How to Take Over the World. He's a big fan. He likes the show, and so he said, "Do you want to come work for us?" And so we worked out a little deal.
It's awesome. Now I'm curious, like, of all the people you've studied, who are Sam and Shaan most similar to?
That's a good question. And they're very different, right? So it's going to be very different answers for each of them. Sampar, who is Sampar similar to? I would say Sam. I'm going to give Alexander the Great rating. In that, here's the thing they had in common: both very persuasive, both very good charmers, very good people persons. But when you dip below the surface, both of them had a chip on their shoulder, right? And that was what kind of drove them to be as hardworking as they are. And Sam definitely has that, right? So he has this like great warm personality. He's like one of the warmest people I know, but he also has this intensity, right? And that was very similar to Alexander, who was very personable, could really persuade and charm people to do what he wanted them to do, but also had this like, if you got on his wrong side, if you disappointed him, if it really mattered, then he could be very intense, and you know, in the case of Alexander, could be vindictive and cruel, but it all kind of worked towards his purpose. For Shaan, who is Shaan like? Shaan, Shaan's a unique personality. I don't know that I've ever that I've done an episode on anyone like Shaan. I mean, I guess one of the things that I would draw out is he reminds me a little bit of a Bezos in this way. He's really good at switching frames and changing perspectives. So you're talking about the minutia of something, and he's very good at like, all right, let's zoom out. Why does this matter? How does this fit into the bigger picture? Or you can be talking about the bigger picture and like, we kind of need to move in this direction. And you'll go, okay, pause. What does that actually mean? Like, what do we actually need to do to achieve that? So his ability to switch frames is something that's also true of Bezos, who I think does that really well. You just go read his letters, right? His shareholder letters. Like, he's really good at grand strategy, right? Like thinking about what is retail going to look like in 20 years, geopolitics, technology, like how is the world changing? But then what does that actually mean for how we operate? What does that mean for the website? How does the website need to look different, right? How does the packaging need to look different? His ability to frame switch is really incredible.
So a lot of people might understand what it's like to hang out with Sam and Shaan because you've done it, because they listen to the episode and they listen to My First Million time and time and time again. But you've actually interacted with them on a day-to-day basis. They're filming an episode. You're in on that episode. You can ask them questions. You can review the episode. What has that one-on-one guide and mentorship been like for the last year and a half?
Well, it's awesome. They're successful for a reason. And it's cool because they're a little bit of fire and ice, as I just kind of pointed out. They have very different approaches, right? So it's cool to be able to learn from each of them. So on a day-to-day basis, what's it like working with them? You know, with Sam, it is like this aggression in pushing things forward, if that makes sense. Aggression gets like a bad rap in these days, right? Like if someone's aggressive, they think that's bad. But I don't think it's a bad thing at all. That Sam like doesn't take things for granted that they need to continue to be the way that they are, right? If you tell him, like, if he's like, hey, how come we can't get video podcasts on Spotify? And you're like, well, they said they're not rolling out till Q1 the ability for everyone to do video podcasts. He's like, well, I saw someone else doing video podcasts, so that means there is a way, right? so go figure it out, right? And he's always pushing kind of like what's possible. And then Shaan is another thing he's really good at is always focused on entertaining. So like, we're doing an interview right now. The easiest thing in the world is for you to ask a question and for me to answer it, right? You answer the question. That's what most people do, right? He's always answering the question, but he's got a little part of his brain set aside that's going, how is this the best content possible? How is this entertaining? How am I making someone laugh? How am I making them say, wow, or what the F, or like, how am I sparking a reaction? So not only is he able to answer the question, talk about the topic, but you can tell he's always thinking about how to turn it into the best content at the same time. And that is like such a hard skill to master. And it's he is absolutely a master at it.